Okay, so first of all, this is probably just a bug and not really intended by the developers to be possible. You're not supposed to be able to save Yonas the Harper. He is probably supposed to die. Heck, I would say this guy is actually destined to die. You can literally see him being dragged off in the cutscene into the shadows and killed by those shadowy monsters. It happens off screen, but he definitely dies and comes back as this shadow-cursed zombie. And yet it is possible to bring him back. Many people of course try to do that, many people have tried to save him, because if you check his stats it actually says temporary hostile. So that led many people to believe that it is possible to save him. And it actually is. It is a bit tricky, but it is possible. So first of all, when the combat starts, we need to get rid of all the shadow monsters. Make sure that Yonas is the only one who is still alive. And also pay attention that he does not get killed by one of the other Harpers. You also need to bring his health down a little bit, that will make the next step much easier. Next we're casting the Polymorph spell on him. This is basically a spell that turns the target into a harmless sheep with only a few HP, and basically the target cannot do anything at this point, just run away. Next I'm placing Shadowheart over there because this other Harper decided to walk into the shadows without a torch, and he will actually die later when the conversation after the combat starts, and also turn into a shadow zombie, and the fight actually continues. Yeah, the game can be a little bit silly this time. Next we're going to turn on the non-lethal attacks and knock Yonas out. Well, sheep Yonas at this point. And the thing is, just knocking him out with non-lethal attacks does not work, he still dies. I tried it many times, it just does not work. Even if he is in sheep form, it still does not work 100%. Actually, I tried it many times and he got still killed a lot. Most of the time it was by Karlach's opportunity attack, so this is also why I moved her away. So instead I'm using my character and hitting him with a torch. That also did not work every time, but it worked 2 out of 3 times, so the success possibility seems to be much higher with the torch. I'm not sure why, maybe it's because Karlach's damage is just way too high and you're not supposed to hit him really hard, maybe it's because the torch is a blunt weapon, but I think it's not the case because usually non-lethal attacks are supposed to be possible with any melee weapon or unarmed. So maybe unarmed is actually the best way to do it. But anyway, as you can see, it works. There he is. Now the conversation starts as usual and we can switch away. He is totally alive. The shadow curse is definitely gone. And he will actually run back to the inn after the conversation together with his Harper friends, and later you can see him stand there. He just stands there and does nothing, you cannot interact with him, he does not have any dialogue, you cannot talk to him at all, but he is alive. I guess at this point there is just no script anymore to make him do anything, so it is a bit weird how he stands in the middle of the road, especially during the cutscene, because you can totally see him, and even the camera kinda clips a little bit through him. But the fact that he is alive and that he actually runs back to the inn with others is already quite interesting. As I said, the developers probably didn't intend it to be possible, and the fact that he actually runs back to the Last Light Inn is probably just because there is a script that tells all the surviving NPCs to run back together. But nevertheless, I think it's really cool how it's actually possible to save him. And if you think about it, what did we actually do? We used a Polymorph spell. A spell that literally transforms the creature into something different, into a different creature, into a different form. So is it not possible that we actually only transformed the base being, just Yonas himself, without the curse that affected him at this point? It's also not anybody who cast the spell, but it was actually Shadowheart, who is a cleric and a healer. And in addition to that, when you enter the Shadow Curse lands, she also says that she appears to be immune against the curse, that Shar probably grants her some kind of protection, and that actually would give her somewhat of an understanding of the curse, and probably a means to counter it. And if all that is not enough, in my game she also wields the Blood of Lathander, which is literally a mace that is blessed by the power of the God of Light, and obviously the best way to counter the shadows and the Shadow Curse. So I think all that together actually makes up a really good and lore-friendly explanation of why it would actually be possible to save Yonas at this point. So even if it is not intended by the developers, I think it actually appears logical that we were able to do it. Now, what do you think? Do you think my explanation is an S-spool, or does it actually make sense and fits into the lore? And also, of course, feel free to try it out and see if it is possible for you to save him. Let me know if it worked in the comments below. When I tried it, it was like a week ago, so it was still on patch 5. I don't think that they will patch something like this, but who knows. So yeah, anyway, try it out, see if it works, and let me know in the comments below. And thank you all for watching.